Hello, I'm the creator of trapchess. Welcome to a game of Stockfish versus Stockfish in trapchess. To accomplish this, I go to chess.com/analysis. I make the first move, and then I press the spacebar to have Stockfish make the best move. Then I mimic those moves on the trap chessboard. When a landmine activates, I set up the new position. One move before the landmine activation, I make a move to have the board match, and then I can continue to use the spacebar mechanic. All landmines are hidden in the board randomly, accounting for 32 booby trap squares. This makes for some unique trap chess games at a high level. I'll talk about the game, or trap chess in general, throughout the game. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Also, please comment which move you'd like to see played first, and I'll choose one for a future video. Now, on to the trap chess game. I started with the most common move here, e2 to e4, to see how it plays out. White has decided to castle here, and the game is pretty much even according to the analysis by Stockfish on the left-hand side. Here's the first activation of the game. We have a knight landmine activating on the c3 square, removing white's knight. If you look at the left, you'll see there is a big change in who is favored to win this game now according to Stockfish. Here's the second activation of the game. White has lost their rook on the e5 square to a landmine. They were checking black's king while forking black's other knight, but because the rook was removed, the fork is also removed. This time black has lost a piece. They've lost a knight on the d4 square to a knight landmine. They were attempting to attack white's queen while also controlling the center of the board, and the landmine stopped them. Black has now set up a future X-ray attack on the e-file by moving their rook to e8. The moment the bishop moves off of e7, the black rook can come down and attack anything that's open on the e-file. Black has no reason not to accept white's trade of bishops on c3, considering black is up so many points. This unique situation is called fizzle. If the landmine activates on g3 and removes the white pawn, then it would be black's turn and black's queen would be able to take white's king, which breaks the rules of chess. So instead, the landmine doesn't activate and is removed from the board and replaced with a blank, and the pawn stays on the board. A bishop landmine has activated on d5, removing black's bishop. Black's bishop was positioned to protect two of their pawns and attack white's queen. Now that the bishop isn't there anymore, white's queen is no longer under attack. The landmine activation on c2, removing black's rook, is detrimental for black. However, Stockfish still shows that black has an overwhelming advantage based on position and points in this game. The easiest way for black to win now would be to get a pawn across the board and promote it. However, pawn landmines account for 25% of all of the squares on the chessboard, so it's no easy task. Black has done a great job of bringing their king into the action. By moving it closer to the side of the board that has more pawns, they'll be able to push their pawns forward, making it more likely that they'll be able to get a promotion to a queen. Black has positioned their rook very well. They have the option to take white's pawn on the b3 square, checking white's king, but also having their rook covering the 4 rank allows them to protect any pawns that pass through that they're trying to promote. Black has great protection now on their d3 pawn, and it looks like it's only a matter of time before they're able to promote it to a queen. Black putting their rook on the b2 square has set up an X-ray attack on White's king. The moment Black promotes their pawn, White's king will be in danger, so if White had an option to take the promoted pawn, or the queen when it's promoted, they wouldn't be able to because they'd have to save their king. White wants Black to promote their pawn on the d1 square. The moment Black does that, White will move their rook to d7, and then they'll come through when the king is out of the way and take the queen for free. Black has promoted a pawn to a queen. In trap chess, when you promote a pawn, you have the option to check the chessboard square before or after you promote the piece. Here, since it's Stockfish playing, we'll always check it after the promotion. If the chessboard square happened to be a queen landmine, the queen would have been lost. Black has lost one of their queens to a queen landmine on the g1 square. This shouldn't be much of a problem for them though, since they have a second queen and a rook. Unless Black hits a queen landmine, this game is pretty much over. Normally you would have to look out for a stalemate, but because Stockfish is playing, Stockfish won't stalemate when it has an opportunity for victory. Thank you for watching. Please comment any thoughts you have on trap chess. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to help make trap chess a reality. Up next, I'll show the locations of all the landmines that are still on the board.